Welcome to Business Connection. I'm Liz Spencer. We have a wonderful guest in studio with me today. He is Dr. Chuck Polcaster, and he's from the Associates in Professional Counseling and Coaching. Welcome. Nice to see you.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, one of the things that I think is very unique to your firm is that you've got this coaching piece. What's the difference between counseling and coaching, and how does it go together?
That's a great question. We ask that frequently. Well, counseling really looks at pathology. There's a diagnosis, there's a specific area that you're bringing hope and healing and health to. Now, coaching, on the other side, is our business department. And that's where we're working with physicians, executives, and other professionals to increase their performance, increase their leadership, adjust their life-work balance. So they're different. And one is kind of a healing medical model, and the other is business growth, development, and leadership. Well, they sometimes will cross over. The truth of it is they're very different in their training model and the results.
And I would think that, I do think they cross over. And with the coaching, you're really trying to give them some skills to help them improve performance.
Yes.
And whether that be somebody who's been promoted or suddenly finds themselves in a different leadership position?
Well, exactly. A person who is a director level, now they're promoted to maybe vice president. And it requires larger scope, a different line of thinking, a different mindset. There's a great book that the title tells it all. It's What Got You Here Won't Get You There. And some of the same things that people have successfully done to come to some level of leadership, now when they're promoted, if they keep doing the same thing, it's not going to work as well. So our job is to help find out where those gaps are, coach them up to that new level.
And do you think a lot of your professionals are surprised that they need coaching because they, well, hey, I got this promotion, I must be able to do it?
That's great. Some are. Some are like, I thought I had this. Yeah. But often their boss says, you know, we've got some experience here. You will onboard faster. Your promotion will be more effective in the first 90 days if you get this coaching. It just speeds up the whole process. Is that we have some tools and instruments, and our coaches are specifically trained to maximize that potential.
You've got a training factor there too, so how does the coaching and the training go? Well,
the third element of our business is training, and so the training model is we have trainers that work for us and other major companies, and they'll go in, they will teach on, we have one on the communicating and leading through the 4 generations. And Hayden Shaw actually wrote the book on that. What's the difference between a millennial and how do you talk to them a little differently than you might deal with a baby boomer? And so we offer training to businesses and around Chicago and really around the country. And our trainers will go in and specifically train to those issues. We also have a trainer that does a lot of work with training counselors, psychologists, and social workers in crisis response. In other words, what do you do after there's a horrific event? And it's a different set of skills than they would have normally learned in school. And so most of the trainers actually around Naperville and much of Chicago have been trained by Rod Ogilvy, one of our senior trainers.
How did this idea of getting all these 3 things under one umbrella come together?
Well, I've been doing this for a long time, and so you see where the needs are at, and sometimes we, like with coaching, we had to go back and retrain to learn how to do that correctly. And then back when 911 hit, we realized there were a lot of people that did not have the training to do post-event debriefings, and so Rod went back to school to learn how to do that. So I said, never again would we be lost on that. In fact, that was that day. 911, I was at Edward Hospital when the terrible event occurred. And they asked, who's had training in post-event debriefing? Nobody. And it was that day I said, we're going to be in the training business for this.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thanks for stopping by and telling us a little bit about what you do. It's fascinating. You bring a wealth of knowledge. So
thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
It's been a pleasure. So we'll be right back with more Business Connections. Stay tuned.